Welcome to Core Resonance. This is Jim Hamilton. This is the next video associated with my newest newsletter. I also have a really interesting announcement. I just did a fantastic interview with a guy by the name of Al Cole out of New York City. It's an audio interview. It lasted an hour. And if anybody wants to know what the heck Core Resonance is, I think we trapped it in that audio interview. And Al Cole was an absolute asset in helping kind of unleash the ideas that Core Resonance is capable of. So first off, I want to thank Al Cole for his acumen and his capacity to, well, frankly, we were on the same page, and that's what it was all about. So there's a link at the bottom of the page here, and you can access the Al Cole interview with me. And again, it came out really well. This video today, it's about my newest newsletter. The newest newsletter is called Premise 4, The Ultimate Exit Strategy. I want to give you an example of an exit strategy so there's no confusion. Let's say you find yourself in a conversation with somebody and the conversation starts to go downhill and maybe the other person even starts to get argumentative. You know, the sooner we pick up on that and the sooner we walk away, the better off we are. That's an exit strategy. A lot of people will stay and they'll try to turn the conversation around, and there's a lot to be said for that because that's what people do. But the visionaries, they find that fighting what's wrong, competing with the old way of doing things, trying to fix the new or trying to fix the old from within is really an obsolete model, hence the idea of an exit strategy. So we're not talking about going to Mars, we're not talking about leaving the US. We might be talking about moving farther into the digital world because the Silicon Valley people have created a whole universe of ideas and concepts that are digital, and we might discover that moving farther into some of those concepts bring a great deal of benefit. Bitcoin might be an example of that. There's something about smart property, which I don't understand yet. I haven't looked at it. And these are new ideas for solving old problems. And again, there's a big difference between being in the middle of the problem and trying to solve it versus stepping out and simply starting something new. Bill Gates, with his extremely large company, a number of years ago was asked what was he most afraid of, and was it his competitors and the different companies that were in the business like he is, and he said that his biggest fear, his biggest competitor are the ones he doesn't know about, and they're the ones that do the startups in the garages. Like Google started in the garage. And so where the two Google guys, Sergey and, gee, I wish I knew, they could have joined Microsoft and tried to solve problems from within Microsoft. What they did is they started their own organization. And as you can tell, Google has become a very large, very effective, very efficient organization. And I'm expecting them one day to learn how to say no to the powers that be. They're becoming very large, and that's what we want. We want them to do what they need to do and do it right. So this article that I've written, The Ultimate Exit Strategy, is about the idea that fighting what's wrong is an old model. Going forward, being a visionary, doing what's next is where we want to put our time and attention. And it's interesting that when we get out in clear air, that we follow our vision and we learn how to partner with innate intelligence, the capacity to unfold something new becomes dramatically greater. And of course, core resonance colonies, that's part of the concept of core resonance colonies, that people form together in small groups. Groups of 6 is what I'm actually thinking. They learn how to quiet their nervous system. They learn how to do it individually. They learn how to do it as a group. And they collectively, as a small group, reach out into the cosmos to become a means by which solutions are delivered into this dimension. In other words, our nervous system is like a living antenna system, and to attune your nervous system, to knock down the static and noise, and I'm sure there's more appropriate terms for antennas and how they clean them up so that they are tuned better. But what we want to do is become visionaries. We want to take advantage of the newest tools, i.e. knocking down the static and noise in our nervous system, re-enabling our natural state of connection with the cosmos, and become a means of delivery by which solutions are delivered into this dimension. So core resonance is about doing what's next. We're not going to be in the middle of the problem and try to solve the problem with old tools. I use an analogy in this newsletter about how do we solve the problems of the Veterans Administration's hospital system. Now, I don't pay too much attention to all this, but I know there was a massive problem with, I think they were actually destroying records and the wait list for veterans to get in. I didn't pay too much attention, and I even think it had to do with Phoenix, Arizona. And so what they've done is they discovered that the Veterans Administration hospital system is really a major wreck. And so what are they going to do? They're going to build a bunch more hospitals. Well, I'm afraid that's not going to solve the problem, as many of us know. And I suggest in my newsletter the solution, and I use it just as an analogy, would be to take somebody from an entirely different industry, somebody not steeped in the hospital lore and activities and what they've done, but to start anew and design a whole new system for dealing with veterans, because that's what Veterans Hospital is about, is the veterans. And I believe that somebody from outside of the existing system, as a visionary, could create a much more successful system than presently exists. That's an example. I want to invite you to look at what we're doing here at Core Resonance. The most recent iteration is Core Resonance Colonies. There's 12 premises. This newsletter is about number 4, which is called the Ultimate Exit Strategy. Number 5, which will be written in the next couple of weeks and delivered in 2 weeks, is about the Maharishi effect. The Maharishi effect is a large group of meditators, 4,000, descended on Washington, D.C. in 1993. And at the height of this experiment, which a lot of people were watching, a lot of professionals, the crime rate dropped 23%. I just recently discovered another series of demonstrations. We had 7,000 meditators, and I don't know much about this yet, but they reduced terrorism by 72%. And so the point, of course, is the more conscious we become, the more we contribute to making the world a better place. And of course, resistance and becoming conscious have nothing to do with each other. Also, real quick, I've got Free Selling the Keys to the Universe. I have a call on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. The call is free. You can sign up for Free Selling the Keys to the Universe on the website. And it's an opportunity to interact with me a little bit. And Free Selling the Keys to the Universe can show you that everything you need is in front of you if but you could see it. You can learn more about that on the website. I want to wish everybody well, and I want to thank you for your participation. And namaste.